Welcome, chat, to another show where we have an interesting conversation that I was thinking when I was on the toilet a couple of hours ago about if there's anything in the world that once it becomes popular, it doesn't go to shit. And a serious question. Because I grew up with a lot of different fandoms, a lot of different cultures, things that now would be considered unthinkable, and they would be outright banned, and the people creating those arts would be persecuted. For instance, goth music. Do you guys remember that? Right? Like, what was goth music? It was music about killing yourself. Like, that's what the original bands were like, you know? Who was listening to them? Young teenagers. Even South Park made fun about it. If you did it today, like, it would be like the culture of safetyism. Like, how can we allow? Why are we allowing this? How can you sing about that? Why is this shown to children? Everyone would freak out, right? Especially if you get like one or two cases where kids did self-harm and they happened to listen to that music. It's almost like the music itself was mind controlling them. Like the artist itself was in the room. You know, Papa Roach cut my life into pieces. He was literally in that room, like right there, directly responsible. And so, with this mindset, with this culture of safetyism, I don't think we can have art anymore. I generally believe that this is why we're stagnating. And I think that the next generation and ours just flat out doesn't deserve entertainment. Like, we're not responsible enough to live in a world where we have entertainment and wholesome things. We just don't deserve it. So we shouldn't have anything. You know, we should have just Netflix, recreations, reimaginings of things that were already made with a little bit of race swap and a gender swap in order to add a little bit of rage mixing. And that's it. That's what we deserve. That's what we should have. And when we get something new, you get the anime, immediately people complain. How can you allow, but like fan service? Oh my goodness, I saw an underwear. Why is this allowed? Why is this permitted? Why is it not forbidden? Why is it not forbidden? It has to be forbidden. Like, someone needs to be placed there. Someone needs to be placed in a council to decide what is allowed. We cannot just allow creation. Like, we can't just allow the painter to paint. We need someone. We need experts. We need experts in positions of authority. And so there's like really no saving it, this is why all video games are shit. This is why all art is shit. I think the internet may actually push it to this level, because like before, people wouldn't communicate with each other like we do now. Like, you would have Dragon Ball, right? And someone may get freaked out when you have Frieza impaling Krillin in one of his horns and blood is coming out from Krillin's mouth, right? And Krillin looks like a child. He's like, but a child, but like the anime shows him violently being killed. Or Goku, right? Goku dies in Dragon Ball. Like, horrible thing. But most people, not having access to internet, first of all, wouldn't even know about it. And secondly, it's like, okay, well, my kid watches Dragon Ball. He doesn't turn into a psychopath or anything. So, like, I don't see the harm. I mean, sure, it's over-the-top violence, but it's fictional, and the kids seem fine. Like, they go to school, they behave the same way like they did yesterday. They don't seem to be turning into monsters. So, it's an edgy show, sure, but, like, we shouldn't censor it, right? Like, that's how people would think back then. In Romania, they still do. Like, in Romania, it's usually like, did anyone die? No one died? Okay, then leave it alone. Like, that's the mentality we'd have here. Like, this is the benchmark. Did anyone die? And if someone died, can it be directly tied to it? Like, is that the cause? Or is it just like, it happened to be there, And until you get to that mindset, you're just going to get remakes, reimaginings, reboots, sequels. You're not going to get anything new. First, you have a thing, only people who like the thing are there and are actually passionate. Thankfully, I have a massive DVD and Blu-ray collection. I noticed that the stores don't carry physical media anymore, like my local Best Buy. Yeah, I mean, that's not like something that was planned. Like there are certain things that you can say, okay, well, this was planned to happen. Like CBDC, right? Like, people don't actually want cashless societies, but it's being a push. And in some places like Australia, for instance, the government is actually taking out money from circulation. The banks are putting less ATMs. They refuse to work with cash anymore, right? So like that's an actual push towards something. But when it comes to digital only, right? When it comes to this type of thing, I think it's I think it's just people don't want to buy stuff out of convenience, right? Like if you buy a physical disc, I mean, first of all, when you want to install the thing, you have to search for the disc, you have to find it, you have to open it, you know, you gotta pick up the USB, put it in the computer. And if you are in a different place, like you just bought a laptop and you're somewhere else or at someone else's house, you can't access it, you know. Meanwhile, if you have a digital thing like a Steam, you can install it from anywhere on Earth. And you also have access to your saves, you have access to your user and account. And so, like, people just prefer the convenience over everything else. Look up the degradation of a hobby meme. Yeah, I know it. Now, like, this is the reason that I'm upset about what happened with Gargura, because I haven't followed VTubers in a while. And it's the same reason why I started following them, right? They were niche when they happened. Like, it was a very niche thing. VTubers came out. A lot of people didn't know what it is. And so you tune in, right? And why did I like VTubers? Well, when they came out, I think it was 2018, the internet was extremely sanitized, like much more sanitized than it is now. Almost every single woman that would stream would just do it because she's an e-girl, right? Like, you'd have women with fat tits in front of the camera, and then like a little tiny let's play in the right corner, and then it turns out that most of the time they themselves didn't even film the let's play, right? So like they would put a playback of a League of Legends or something like that in the corner, and they would pretend to be playing while getting super chats because everyone was there for the big tits. And so, you know, you finally get to see actual women, right? Like, you get to see anime girls that not only can play video games, but they're toxic, right? Like, this is what I like. It's like, okay, I can tell they're gamers because they're toxic. Like they actually, you know, smashing the mouse. They're smashing the keyboard. They're getting angry. They're smacking the desk. They're talking about ground pounding your mom. That, like, they feel genuine, right? Like, for once, I was looking at it and it's like I'm seeing a human being. I'm not seeing a product. Because everyone else was a product. All the other streamers were products. What do I mean by this? Well, the moment you have sponsors, the moment you have an agency, the moment you have a PR company behind you, you become a product. And so, like, the entire internet was filled with products. And now I'm seeing these girls, which, despite the fact that they were associated to companies, right? They still behave genuine, like they behave like human beings, and that's what actually attracted me to the whole genre. SRC Maker, thank you for the $5. Without the physical disc, you own nothing, and you will like it. Well, I want to tell you that even with the physical disc, you sometimes still don't own stuff, because there are now many games, in fact, almost all of them, which, despite the fact that you get the physical disc, they still require an online connection, and they still require you to create an account. So, yeah, sure, you know, you have the physical disc, but you can't play it unless you make an account. Zlixian, everything good goes to crap. Makes me want to self-delete. Best years are behind me. Nothing will improve. Why should I go on? Oof. You know, I generally thought that maybe it's because we're getting old, Zlixian, and I was thinking, holy shit, like, is this what people call a midlife crisis? Like, have I reached the point where, it's just that I'm old and I'm not enjoying anything? And then I read someone on Kotaku in Action talk about Oblivion and how he played the game and he's enjoying it. And his explanation is that it's not because of the remake that I like it, but it's because it has, like, the original game in it. And I am enjoying gaming like I used to again after playing Oblivion. And that blew my mind, you know, because I feel the same thing with South Park. Like, I'm watching the last seasons of South Park, incredibly boring. You know, some of the jokes are funny, but, like, overall, it's lame. And then when you watch the first seasons of South Park, it's so over the top. It's absolutely hilarious. And they use a lot of shock humor and shock jokes that they wouldn't be able to use now. You know, like Hanky the Christmas Pooh. Like showing actual feces on television. Like they would never do that now. It's just one example. Like you don't have to show shit on TV. But like the whole thing, like South Park is so fucking edgy. It's not for everyone. Like that was the mindset. Like if you're watching South Park, you're cool because like you're strong enough to watch it. You know, like you get to see Kenny dying episode after episode in the most vile and brutal manners. Right? Like South Park is not for everyone. Like what you want South Park to be is like, okay, is this cute and wholesome cartoon? And you want to get a person that doesn't know what South Park is to sit on the sofa with you. And the joke is his reactions, like his reactions of shock. Like seeing him disturbed by something harmless that's on TV. Like that is funny. That was the joke. Like he became the joke. It was an inside thing, you know. It's like only the teenagers can watch South Park. Like only we are enlightened enough to watch it without horrifying ourselves. Like we can watch it and get unscathed. Everyone else is too weak. That was the mentality of the era that I grew up. That was the fucking internet, right? Like the whole internet back then. Why did you delete my diversity's message? Don't delete him. Stop it. Anyway, the 2000 era internet was pretty much like this, you know. You were trying to shock people, and the joke was if people got shocked, right? Like you had the 2 Girls 1 Cup, you had like all the other shit. And if someone was watching it and was spurging out, like he became the joke. Like his reaction, his spurg out was the humor, right? And it was also, it's like we're the first generation that can watch all this vile shit that people said is going to make us brain dead. And yet we're surviving, you know? It's like evolution, you know? Like our kids are going to be even stronger. But then the university professors and the academics made sure that that's not going to happen. SRC Maker, you've got another year before midlife at least, V. Oh my fucking god. Is that going to be even worse? The reason is because all these companies were private companies, picked at them. They became open traded companies and the busybodies of the stock market took over. Yeah. Okay. So, publicly traded. Discord may actually be publicly traded. You gotta understand, if you have the mindset of buying low and selling high, you don't really care about the company that much. Like, there are a couple of things that you can make a company be profitable in the short term. Even though, like, in the long term it's not sustainable, but you don't fucking care, right? Because, like, you're going to sell in that short term, you're going to make your money, and you're going to fuck off. And so, it's this mindset. And it's also the safetyism mindset, right? You can't, the safetyism mindset can work for certain things, like cars, you know, but when it comes to art, like, safetyism just doesn't work. You know, there's a reason why Japanese manga is so popular. It's because they have no safetyism. The only thing you can do is to teach people that buy Japanese manga how to identify the stuff that they're disgusted or offended by and avoid it. Like, that's the normal way in a society. And I thought, you know, growing up, that's how art is actually supposed to be. SRC Maker. Oh my god, fucking Hanky and his Christmas Poo train. Taking Cartman, Stan, Kenny, Kyle to the North Pole, and Santa gets held hostage by the Iraqi, and Jesus dies saving them. The ridiculousness was off the charts. Yeah, exactly, right? And like, watching that again, after so many years, I'm laughing to tears. And I'm also laughing to tears because I know, like, none of that would be allowed today. It's so bad, chat, it's so fucking bad that the creators of Dungeons and Dragons, right? Sorry, not the creators. The people that own Dungeons and Dragons now, they gave an interview. And they basically said, we would never allow Dungeons and Dragons to be made today the way it was originally made. And, like, that really blew my mind, because it's like a big holy shit moment. Like, you realize, okay, this is not even talking about risk aversion anymore, right? Like, you know that this product is going to be so monumentally successful that it's not just going to give you a profit, but it's going to be renowned around the world. Like, everyone around the world is going to at least know of Dungeons & Dragons, is going to play it. Like, you're going to create not just a product, you're going to create a cultural phenomenon. And what do these people say? No, we wouldn't. Like, that is fucking insane, right? And the reason it's insane is because you know they wouldn't. Like, even if you give them the goose that lays the golden eggs, they would fucking kill it. And these are the people that are running our industry. This is their mindset. This is how they think. Like, if you give them the best product that exists, they wouldn't use it because it's not according to their ideology. In other words, it's not safe. People should just push it out on Twitter, no censorship. It's not like you can change. I don't know what would require fixing it. But the reality is like, okay, look at Game of Thrones, right? Game of Thrones is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. You have the first seasons, and they're absolutely amazing, right? Like, everyone watches Game of Thrones, it becomes a cultural phenomenon. When it becomes too popular, I think by season 3, you now have the feminists complaining. It's like, why is there rape? Why do you see tits? Why are women objectified? And the answer was to create immersion. It's a medieval society. Why would people still have the same principles like we do? Like the whole rape situation and incest. Like, that actually drives the plot. You know, like, you have the queen, right? You had Cersei and Jaime doing incest in the tower. The kid catches them. That drives the plot, right? All these things are then removed from the show. Why? Because feminists complain. Now it's not so simple, because a lot of people believe that when you're in this type of production, it's kind of like, they decided to cave because some people on Twitter complained. It's not really like that. You know, like, there's people associated with the production. There's people that the actors themselves may complain. You may have third parties, like, sponsorships and merchandise and toy stores and shit, and they're like, well, we can't make toys if you guys keep having incest in it. And so, like, you're under pressure from many different places. And when you're running a movie, like, you're talking about millions of dollars, right? And you're talking about the jobs of thousands of people that are associated with the production. And so this is when the safetyism comes in. And again, it comes in because no one has the balls to say, look, we know what we're doing. The reason that this is popular is because such and such. Like if what we were doing was bad, we wouldn't got popular. And so, if you manage to stick to your guns, then you would actually be able to keep doing something popular. But what happened with Game of Thrones is that in a couple of seasons, like, first the tits went away. And they were, like, considering this as an achievement. It's like, yeah, our actresses are not going to show tits anymore because it's demeaning and blah, blah, blah. And then no more rape. And then it started moving from that to actually pushing feminism. So now you have, from this dark universe where you have, like, this medieval setting that's very true to how society used to be, and it's grim and it's dark. Now it's only women everywhere. Like, the last battle was between Sansa Stark controlling the north, Daenerys on her dragons, Cersei controlling the capital. Who else was there? The Mormont girl, right? Like all of a sudden she's front and center. Arya Stark is now taking over Jon Snow's spot. Like, literally every single thing was like female empowerment, and all the men took a back seat, right? Like, Tyrion, that was smart and wise, is now dumb as a rock. Varys, also a joke as a character, completely ruining the show, right? Like, everything that was in the show that made it cool and great, completely removed. Why? Well, because they gave in to the moral busybodies, and it all started with the tits. It's like, why are there too many tits? And the moment you remove the tits, it means that you're signaling to the moral busybody that you're willing to listen. And so now the moral busybody has a vested interest to keep making you listen because it raises his prestige. It raises his fame. It's like, yes, I managed to do change in society. That's how they view it. Never concede, no matter the cost. I agree, unless it's a law. Like, unless, a government passes a legislation and they would be like, no more rape in movies, and then, like, you're making Game of Thrones and it's got rape in it and you're affected by that, okay, then you have to actually do something, because now it's an actual legislation. And you have to, like, do we make a different TV show just for the UK? Do we just cut the scene? Like, okay, fine. But, when you're being pressured from outside sources, and the thing is, like, who shouldn't cave in? Because that's the question, you know? At the end of the day, the producer, the one that makes the show, right? If the publisher, if like, for instance, Netflix is to say, if you don't make these changes, we're not putting you on the platform, well, what do, right? Now, let's say you go to Amazon and Amazon tells you the same. It's like, no, you need to fix this or you're not getting on Amazon. Well, at the end of the day, then the changes should happen from Netflix and Amazon. But like, what if Netflix and Amazon doesn't give a flying fuck about entertainment? What if they have other values and principles? And this is why we're here. You know, it's not something easy to fix. It's not like, oh, well, the only thing you need to do is to not cave in. Like, I'm telling you this as an independent game developer. I think I said it on another stream. But making a video game now is not like in 2014 where you could literally make anything you want. Like, there are so many rules, it's an entire fucking bureaucracy. And everything is subjective. Like, you make changes and you're just hoping that a moderator won't see it in a different light. SRC Maker, last fiver before my 4 p.m. Zoom. Yes, 1 more year, V, and just don't do what I did. You know what I'm talking about. With that, reached my $30 fee. Have fun, chat while I scream at morons on Zoom. Do you actually scream at people, or do you get screamed at people? That's and also thank you for the memberships. I really appreciate it. Those same people bitched and moaned when Harry Cavill didn't want to do nude scenes in the Witcher show. Like here's my take on nudity in shows, right? I have nothing against it. Like, I'm not a prude. Obviously, there should be an age rating, right? Like, every single production, whether it's a movie, whether it's a video game, whether it's a TV show, you know, I just think, like, people should know what's in it. Because, like, there are certain people that don't like violence, right? And so, like, it needs to have a disclaimer. Like, this movie has gratuitous violence. That's fine, you know? Some people do like violence, and the disclaimer would actually help bring more people there. So you should have the disclaimer. But the second thing that's important is to just allow it, right? Like, once you have the disclaimer there, just allow it. I don't care if it's just like a random sex scene or tits. The reason it's there is because people have analyzed the market and they have figured out that putting random sex scenes in it sells better. They get more money. If they get more money, they can do a sequel. It's my interest that they do a sequel. If I have to suffer through a nonsensical sex scene and have to struggle seeing some tits on the camera, knowing that the movie makes more money and the actors that are making the production that I enjoy get well paid, and then they can get contracts for a sequel, yeah, I'll put up with that sex scene. I'm not that mentally deficient in order to be like thinking that the world revolves around me and I shouldn't see a sex scene on the big screen just because you know, some Puritans fucking hate it. Why don't we hate the Puritans instead? That kicked them out of the cinema. Why should they be in the cinema if they can't, you know, tolerate 1 or 2 minutes of their fucking time? Oh no, Game of Thrones has some tits. Oh goodness gracious. Cancel the whole thing, right? Because, like, you see what they're doing. They're destroying it. Like, we already played their way. We allowed them to take over. We entertained them. And every single production that they touched ended up going to shit. And so, anyway, once you have, like, the age rating, and they're, like, explaining, okay, this has violence, this has titties, this has this and that, just fucking allow it, right? Just let people create art, and everything should go. And the market decides. Don't like it, don't buy it, you know? Like I had people complain about the Human Centipede. The Human Centipede is a movie made specifically to shock. Why shouldn't that exist? Like why should shocking content not exist? The whole purpose is to get the audience to go, ugh. Like, when you watch the Human Centipede, the sequel, or the third one, you know what you're getting yourself into. Like, the whole purpose is to see, you know, like, what exactly can they do to go over the top? That's why I would even watch. It's like, okay, so like, what else can they do that's even more over the top, and will I get shocked or not? The answer is no. But again, like, the funny part is to watch it with someone else and see how they're grimacing and how they're like, ugh. Like, that's the whole thing, right? Wasn't their fault, it was the Chads and their common sense. Yeah, pretty much. And at the end of the day, again, like, the Human Centipede is definitely not for everyone. Like, that's the whole thing. You know, it's a movie so vile that not everyone gets to see it. And then you're curious. It's like, well, how vile can it be? and you go and you watch it, and you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, what am I watching? And it's funny because you're thinking, well, how could he even think of something like that? Like, how did he even go over the top to that level? And by the way, you know, like, the thing with the Human Centipede, I gotta say, like, the reason that it's actually a good movie, and it's a good movie because it's a financial success. That's how I judge it objectively. I don't care about morality or anything. Does it sell or doesn't it? And there are people who can disagree, and they can live in the imagination land and fantasy la la land, because, like, real world, you know, you need money to pay for the electricity bills. But the reason the first movie of the Human Centipede is actually good is because of the acting. Like, the doctor is incredibly creepy, and you actually want to see the girls escape. Like, you actually are rooting so that they escape their predicament. It's a horror movie. It's supposed to make you horrified. It is horrifying. Like, it's literally doing what it's intended to do. Now, if we say that, okay, well, the Human Centipede isn't good enough, right? Because, like, it's too much. It's too much. Then you end up sanitizing the entire genre. And so what you end up happening is, like, what is a horror movie now? The Conjuring, right? Like, The Conjuring is a horror movie based only on jump scares. Only on jump scares. It's like, oh, look, it's the nun. And then, boom, she appears in front of you. And everyone goes, whoo. And then, you know, like, they talk a little bit, more talking. Suddenly the music stops. Oh, no, the nun will appear again. And there she is. She appears. And everyone goes like, woo. And that's a horror movie. You know, I saw the Facebook review. I need to see it, but, like, there's another horror movie called The Terrifier. The Terrifier is about a killer clown, and apparently he kills a kid, right, in the movie. Oh my goodness, the entire internet was up in arms. Oh, is this what we have become as a society? Is this what we're allowing as a society? I mean, I know we're allowing for mass immigration, and we're allowing to tank the economy, and we're allowing crimes in our street, but this is too fucking much. This is worse than the fentanyl crisis. Like, look what's becoming. It's like, it's a horror movie, you dipshit. It's supposed to horrify you. Yes, killing kids is horrible. It's in a horror film. No one died, by the way. It's fake. Okay, like, the kid is an actor. All right? Like he puts on a mask. It's pretend. It's make-believe. Doesn't really happen. People who watch the movie are aware. Right? The purpose is for you to get horrified. Are you horrified? Yes. Then, well, your money was well spent. That's what you paid money for. To be fucking horrified. You know, but like, it's like talking to children now. Like, maybe they shouldn't have this entertainment. Maybe it is dangerous for them. Maybe, like, there are people out there that actually shouldn't have to watch these films, despite the fact that they're adults. He saws a woman in half from her vajayjay. Again, I haven't seen the film, but I do wanna, because I like horror films. Like, the whole thing is like, okay, you're not rooting with the killer, right? Like, you're rooting for the victims and you want to see them escape. You want a roller coaster of emotions. Like, when I'm watching that, I get adrenaline, right? I get a little bit horrified. And that's the entertainment aspect. Like, you're experiencing emotions, right? You're experiencing dread. You're experiencing the desire to see the victim escape. And you need to hate the monster. How do you hate the monster? Well, if the monster kills a kid, well, that's a good reason to hate it. Like, everything is part of the narrative. Everything is part of creating a movie that the audience can engage with at an emotional level. It's super fucked up and well written. You won't regret it. I know. Like, if it wasn't well written, people wouldn't bitch about it. SRC Maker has lied to me. Instead of being on Zoom, she's still here super chatting. Okay, really last super chat episode. Yes, I can choose to join late. South Park episode, Human Centipede. That's how you know the movie had a real impact. They made an entire South Park episode based on it. Yeah. No, like unironically, I wish people would stop treating movies like they're Rorschach tests in humanity, or like they're anything more than just entertainment. Like any ideology that starts bitching about movies and video games, you know that it's a shitty ideology. Because, like, you have reached the bottom of the battle. Either because you are weak and impotent at creating world change, so you're going for the low-hanging fruit, You are incapable of doing actual virtue, so you're going for the low-hanging fruit. Because anyone can complain, you know, like, don't get me wrong, you know. Anyone can bitch about the human centipede. Like, pay me some money and I'll just write entire pages after pages on why it's bad, why it's vile, why it should be banned. Like, it's really easy. Defending it is actually harder, right? And so, it's not just that, but it's like such a low-hanging fruit, because like everyone knows that it's a bad film. Like, it's a shock horror movie. Like, the shock value is the purpose. If women can use feminine power to get their way, then men can use masculine power, physical might, to get theirs. Yeah, but take into account that women manipulate men. Now, what do you do then, right? When they use their feminine charm in order to manipulate more men to be against you. Good News V, says Christopher. Have you seen the new French game with ex-Ubisoft refugees that sold 1 million copies in 3 days? Expedition 33, not Chinese. I actually know about that. I even spoke with the guy that works at Ubisoft, and he also, you know, went to the people at the office and asked, well, like, why can't we create that anymore? Because, again, those were people who worked at Ubisoft. Like, they had the talent, they had the technology. Why didn't we make it? And the answer is, well, because they're risk adverse. That's it. That's the answer. They are risk adverse. There is like one thing that I disagree, and I wanna know what you guys have to say about it. There's this content creator CIL. CIL. I actually like him. Like, usually I like his takes. I still like him, but I just disagree with this particular take. Apparently, like, in the game, you can have a swimsuit, right? And CIL is sitting here with his Dicky. He's got like his little Doro. And he's complaining about this.
Y'all think this is how this game was originally going to be? No. They stripped a good amount of bullshit out this game. But do you see the division in something like this versus like a Stellar Blade? Isn't it funny that they would attack a studio with a bunch of women in it who are working on $1 billion IP, and Nikkei got us a victory? They would treat them like assholes who have never seen a woman when they're making cream of the crop representations.
Like, let's be fair a little bit. The people that were making the Expedition 33 are probably not the same people that were bitching about Stellar Blade, right? And the reason they bitch about Stellar Blade is, like, most of these people don't actually play the games, right? Like, you're not going to have the journalists play all the way until they get this swimsuit, right? And if they do, like, by that time, it's slowly immersed in it. But when you play Stellar Blade, like, the sexiness is right when you click start. It's in the trailers, it's everywhere. Chances are they didn't even know that this shit exists. Like, chances are they were completely oblivious that this swimsuit is even in the game.
Brother, this modeling, unfortunately, is so... This is what DEI trying is going to look like in the future, brother.
I do agree with this thing, though. Like, they don't know how to make sexy women anymore, right? I know this because I actually talked with artists that played, with artists that worked at Blizzard. And they told me, it's like, look, most people do not know how to make Western art with good-looking women anymore. And we're talking here about Night Elves, Draenei. We're talking about, do you guys remember that chick from Neverwinter Nights? Right? Lady Adibeth. You don't have Western artists that can draw that. That's not a joke. That's real. Like, they generally don't know. Like, you would have to train them again, right? All the Western artists that draw beautiful women, they draw anime now. Like, you have just 3 ways of doing art. You either do, like, the Californian abominations, you know, like even Mortal Kombat does that shit, where all the women have, like, broad shoulders, the chin, like, no flat ass, no breasts, right? Or you have like the other thing that draws anime, and then maybe you have like some ironic, you know, Rick and Morty type of shit where it's like extremely stylized just to cut the cost of production. But yeah, like you do not have people in the West that know how to create sexy female characters anymore. And I do agree with Seal. This is them trying. Like they're noticing, okay, maybe maybe we can get a little sexy female character in, right? Like they're probably talking about risk aversion. They're probably discussing at their studios. It's like, well, how can we sell our games? And they may say, well, look, you already have Stellar Blade. You already have like China. Like the gaming industry is now pushing back against the wokeness. No one listens to Melanie Mac anyway. We can't go all the way in, right? Like we're still ESG. We're still promoting diversity, inclusivity. But like maybe one character, maybe one swimsuit. Maybe like we can actually do a little thing. Because like that will get the fans, But they don't know how. Like they make this, which again, it looks uncanny. I do agree with Seal. Like it actually does look a little bit uncanny. It's not wrong. Like it's not bad. But it's not perfect, It's not like if you get a Chinese person to draw this swimsuit, holy shit, like it would be a 10 out of 10.
Okay, it's gonna look like models that you've seen in $2 Steam games.
Yeah, like people that genuinely don't know how. Like they're trying to reinvent the wheel. Like the knowledge of building the wheel is lost.
Where the whole game is like sexy waifu, one person developed it. So they look great in their normal clothes, I'm totally sure. But something about this ass cleavage. It's like they wanted to go Coomer, but they didn't know quite how.
Exactly.
And I find that uncanniness absolutely fascinating. But
right, because it's not really Coomer. Like that's the whole thing, right? Like it's not Coomer, but it's not safe horny either. Like it's this bizarre limbo. There's this like really weird in between, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's amusing when you notice it. Like when you spot it, it's absolutely hilarious. I disagree, V. Just look at all the adult animators. They're just not working for game companies. Yeah, but like you don't understand. Making an adult animation and making a video game are two different things. When you make an adult animation, you have one artist and he's got time. He can take as much as he wants for one animation. And that's it. If you have a video game, you have a schedule, right? First of all, you need more artists that draw the same style. You can't just have one. You need to have at least 20 or 30 artists that can draw in the same style so that when it's on the screen, the player doesn't think, oh, like, what is this clashing of styles? Secondly, when you cook at home, right? Like, imagine you're cooking now. You're making, I don't know, your turkey for Thanksgiving dinner, right? And you're cooking slowly. You're, taking your time because there's no rush, right? You're cutting the salad in the way you're washing everything, you're doing the job, right? Now imagine you cook in a restaurant, right? When you cook in a restaurant, you can't take your time. Like you need to have various techniques so that the food looks impeccable, but you can also cook at an industrial scale. Like the way you cut the food is not the same way a person cuts at home. The way you manipulate, the way you move the food, the plating, like everything changes, right? And so, yeah, there are artists that can do porn and it looks really well. But if you put them to work in a corporate environment and they have to do it fast and it has to look good and they all have to draw in the same style, there is no such thing. Like the technology of that just doesn't exist in the West. The only thing you have is anime and the ugly AAA characters that we all know. V is arguing against censorship while he's superficially right. His premises are wrong. These worst offenders shouldn't exist. Okay, but like, here's my question. If they exist, so what? Like, what is the problem if these things exist? Like, they already exist. Let's say you go back in time, right? Let's say you go back in time, and you're like the Terminator, and you're preventing the Centipede movies from ever being made. What is the actual change? Like what do you think? Like, what is the butterfly effect from taking away the human centipede? What changes, really? Because that's what I don't get. It's so fucking trivial. It's so fucking useless. The only thing that changes, I guess, is like actors don't get paid. Money doesn't get made. The cash doesn't flow. Tax revenue isn't done. These movies may actually provide the job for some people to start up their career. You know, like you work as a sound guy for this production, and now you can work on another, right? But the thing, like the biggest damage that you're doing, and I'll tell you from a creative point, is you're getting studios to doubt themselves. Because, you know, everyone agrees, okay, fine, you know, Human Centipede, way too much. Like, that's the extreme. But let me take it to my game, for instance. Do I get the woman smoking in my game? Well, no, because, you know, you're not supposed to show drugs, and nicotine is a drug. But, like, what if, you know, she doesn't smoke cigarettes, she smokes something else? It's like, these little changes. That's like, you're wasting time, you're wasting resources, you're wasting effort. For what? For sanitizing a product. Which, you know, like, may have been better if it wasn't sanitized to begin. Take Game of Thrones, for instance, right? Like, let's say you're making Game of Thrones today. Do you show tits? Oh, you don't show tits, because, like, you know, that's too much. That's too extreme. Okay, you don't show tits. Do you show the incest? Well, like, we can't show the incest, because, you know, like, it's extreme. It's a bad... Why would you even want that? What's the purpose of it? There's no fucking goal. There's no purpose. You're not creating a better society. And meanwhile, you have hip-hop music and rap music and wet-ass pussy galore. You know, like, this is why I disagree with the concept of censoring art. It's so fucking pointless. And at the end of the day, even if you manage, right? Like, let's say you manage to censor everything and you have, like, your perfect society where all art is 100% sanitized. It still doesn't stop China. It still doesn't stop Japan. It still doesn't stop the rest of the world that still exists to create stuff that your people are going to find more attractive than the boring shit you're doing. Do you want to know how bad things are? I will tell you how bad things are. When I grew up, Bollywood was a joke. Like, everyone would look at Bollywood as like, just some ridiculous, over-the-top production. Like, these people have no idea how to make art. The fuck are they doing, right? I have seen trailers from Bollywood movies recently that are blowing Hollywood out of the water. And you know what the joke is? It's not that the trailers are any different than the shit that I grew up with. Like, no, Bollywood is still shit. But the West, through sanitization, through censorship, through giving an inch to people that constantly want to censor stuff, have reached a place where their production are even worse than Bollywood. Like, yes, it's possible. They have managed to find out a way to make stuff even more boring, more sanitized, more bland, and I would even say less human. Less fucking... There's no humanity in the products that the West are making anymore. There's no femininity, there's no wholesomeness, there's no cuteness, there's no, you know, like things that have a moral. There's nothing. It's just like, you know, Marvel humor, toilet humor, over-the-top violence, and special effects. And even the special effects are starting to look kind of gay. Yeah, exactly. See, Ilbian gets it. Like, Bollywood is still a joke. And that's the thing, you know, like, what do you say about your entertainment when your entertainment actually goes below the joke, right? Like, Bollywood didn't change. Bollywood didn't go up. Bollywood stays the same, right? And when your entertainment is now below Bollywood level, what does that say about your entertainment? Yeah, no, like, the thing with Bollywood is that it plays off the goofiness aspect. But I will tell you the reality and why I think that Bollywood is better now is because it actually puts soul into their creations. Like, yeah, sure, you know, it's got dances and zoom-ins and all of the fade-ins, fade-outs type of shit. But you can tell that the people who make that movie, they actually are trying to make something good for the audience. Like, you can tell that they are putting passion. It's just that they don't know how to make something good, right? They don't know how, but they're doing their best in order to make something that sells. Meanwhile, in the West, they have no passion. They have no soul. All it's about diversity, inclusivity, and equity and sanitization. There is no more passion in Hollywood. Look at Disney. What passion is there when you take a story like Cinderella and you just do a live adaptation, you race swap, you gender swap so you can have like some outrage on social media? Where is the humanity in it? Where is the soul of creativity? You have managed to go below Bollywood. You're not even like at Bollywood level now. You're way below it. There's no magic. There's nothing. And so it's absolute horseshit. The fade-ins and whatnot are more Indian soap operas. The fucking soap operas are better than the shit that Hollywood is. Like okay, pick any Indian soap opera that you want, and then take Rings of Power plus Privilege, and tell me you're locked up in a cabin for 2 weeks, and you have the Indian soap opera or you have the Rings of Power plus Privilege. What would you like to be stuck with? Like let's be honest. Be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself, right? Like I'm not saying that the Indian soap operas are good. Quite the opposite. I'm saying they're shit. What I am also saying is that Rings of Power plus Privilege is way below the shit now. Like, I would rather have, like, if I have no other choice, I would rather have the Indian soap opera because at least I know it has more human emotions and it's, like, closer to some version of human reality and human interaction than to have the Rings of Power plus Privilege. That one has no soul. It has no meaning. It's got no moral value. There's nothing there. Look up at washing a laptop. Like, washing a laptop actually has meaning. Right? So, hold on. Let me show you the washing a laptop thing, right? Like so you can understand why it's actually better than Rings of Power plus Privilege. Right. I can't actually show the whole thing because copyright, but I think I can just show you the images, right? So you have like this wife. I haven't seen the actual soap opera, but like this one in particular is very famous. Like people around the internet know it. So you have the wife, right? She's boiling water. She's really happy. And she wants to do something for her husband, right? So like she takes the laptop, starts washing it. Take into account that this was made when computer technology was still a new thing. Like a lot of people were still using probably not 486, but like Pentium 2 or Pentium 3, right? Like it's an old soap opera. But anyway, right? Computers were extremely expensive back then, like much more than they are now. And I think like the guy has some important data. Anyway, I think like the story is that someone lied to her, right? Like she was the new wife, I think, and she wanted to know how to please her husband. And someone says that cleaning his computer would actually work, and she actually does it, right? So like she starts cleaning the computer, washes it with soap, puts it in the sink, right? She's really happy with what she's doing. And then when the husband comes in, he sees the computer with horror, right? And apparently it's ruined, and I think like he lost money. Okay. Is this cringe? Abso-fucking-lutely. No one is this dumb. Like even then, people knew that you shouldn't wash electronics, right? Like no one would do this. Like it's the same idea of washing a TV, right? People may not have computers back then. Like there were houses that didn't have computers. But even the ones that didn't would know, yeah, you're not supposed to wash electronics like this, okay? So, you know, it's kind of stupid, very cheesy, very over the top. Still better than Hollywood. Why? Well, at least, you know, like there's humor in it. Like the purpose is not to educate the audience, is not to give you a PowerPoint presentation about genders. It's to make you laugh, right? It's like, first of all, the villain in the story is the other woman, like she's innocent, right? Like she's wholesome. She's just like a woman trying to please her husband. Very relatable, right? She's a good-spirited person. And she's being tainted by a villain. I think it was the stepmom or someone that basically told her, it's like, okay, you need to do this in order to get her in trouble with the husband. And she is very gullible, and she actually does it, and then she gets into trouble. So like people now hate the stepmother. This is good writing at a deeper level. Right? Like the themes. The execution, 0 out of 10. Holy shit. Awful execution. But there's like human emotions there. Yeah, like you can see a stepmother that disagrees with the choice of a wife that her son took. You can see the idea of a woman that's trying to impress her husband, trying to make a good impression. You can see the husband being angry that he lost money and is now acting in an irrational way. Like not trying to understand that, you know, maybe he should be a little bit more lenient because at no point did he tell her not to do this, right? So like there's a moral lesson here. The moral lesson is like, hey, look, you know, if you're the husband and the wife does something stupid, try to see it from her point of view. Like, maybe she's not being malicious. Maybe she just didn't know any better. And instead of screaming or shouting at something that can't be unbroken, maybe you can try to work it out and talk to her so that this doesn't happen again in the future, right? And then see who told her that, and that is the actual villain. So, this is why this is better than Rings of Power plus Privilege. What does Ring of Power plus Privilege tell you? It's like, the elves are being oppressed. Why? Well, because the humans are saying that we can't get any jobs because an elf doesn't sleep. An elf has perfected his craft for thousands of years. No one would hire us over an elf. And the humans are considered as the villains, right? Like, they're the bad characters. And then, like, 5 months later, you have the writing strike in Hollywood. Why? Well, because the AI can now write stories, and the AI doesn't sleep, and the AI has 500 years of knowledge, and now I need to side with the writers that already indoctrinated me through their fucking art, that, their movie, the people complaining about not having a jobs are evil. And so, like, this is the reality, a movie that's like, The Human Centipede, or The Terrifier, or any other shit, right? I think that's less harmful. Why? Everyone knows it's for shocking content. Everyone knows you're watching this movie to get shocked. Meanwhile, something like Rings of Power plus Privilege is insidious. It tries to manipulate you. It tries to put you into a position where you think that evil is good and good is evil. Right? It's the subliminal messages. But even then, even with that, I still wouldn't have it banned. The market is fixing it itself. No one is watching that movie. No one is buying it. And even if they did, it doesn't mean that it's the only movie in the universe. Like, there should be other movies that give different life lessons than that one. In a world where you actually have no censorship, you would have, like, counter movies. You would have movies that go, like, exactly against the idea of what Rings of Power and Privilege is trying to teach. This is how you acid wash a server. Clean your PC, literally, yeah. I mean, you almost couldn't tell Bollywood from Hollywood with the Fast and Furious movies. If only the lag dance bits. No, you can't. You kind of can't tell. There's like something about the acting, something about the camera movements. Like, you can tell if something is from Bollywood. Fast and Furious, besides the car scenes and shit, it actually tries to take itself seriously. Bollywood doesn't. Bollywood tries to get extremely over the top every single fucking time, right? Like, it's kind of like, I would say, if anime was with real people, that's what Bollywood is like, right? Like, especially when it's an action film. Like, Bollywood goes for the anime style, but it looks awful because it's not cartoons and it's real humans. And so it looks fucking cringe. Anyway. I seem socially liberal. Well, I'm more of the idea that in order to like what do you want in life as a person, right? Like, as a person, you want to have a family, you want to be able to provide for your family, and you want peace and serenity, right? You want to be a harmonious person in order to do this. If you constantly concern yourself with shit that you can't change, you're never going to be able to accomplish this. And so you need to have like a live and let live attitude to a certain degree. What I mean is that if I live in a neighborhood, right, there are certain things that bothers me about my neighbor. Like, if my neighbor leaves the trash outside and it smells, then it bothers me, right? Because it affects me. If my neighbor is buying a cat and it's letting it loose and it shits in my garden, well, it bothers me because it affects me. But if my neighbor listens to like heavy metal music when I'm gone at work, why would I care? Now, the question is like, all right, let's say I do care. Let's say I'm really concerned about what my neighbor does in his own home, right? Because, like, it affects me on some fucking level. Which is true, like, everything that happens in the universe affects you at some level. But, like, the question is, like, is it marginal enough where it can be allowed, right? Like, is the thing that affects you at some possible level enough to justify you taking action? And the answer is like, no, most things probably not. But let's assume that you're the type of person that is like trying to terrorize your neighbor to make sure that your neighbor lives the correct life. Like your entire existence is now like your neighbor, and what does he do in his house, right? Is he eating healthy? Is he feeding his children healthy food? Is he raising his voice to his wife? Is he watching the correct movies? Like, that's your life now. Well, what's to stop your neighbor from realizing that you're a piece of shit and you're the problem in his life and allying with 6 other neighbors to fuck you, you know? That's pretty much what you're doing. You're inviting hostility in your life. You're creating problems when there weren't none. Like before, what was the problem? Well, before the problem was that the neighbor was listening to heavy metal in front of his children, right? That was the problem. What is the problem after you decided to dedicate your life and fucking with your neighbor nonstop? Well, now everyone in the neighborhood fucking hates you and wants you gone, right? You created a worse problem even though you were trying to help. I want my kids' world to be as good or better than mine, and the same for theirs. See, like, this is the thing. Like, everyone wants that. But, like, what you can do to provide that is, number one, to teach your kids about internet safety, about the type of movies they should and shouldn't watch. Because you can influence that. You can influence what your kids do, right? You can provide them a good education. And on top of that, you can also make sure that you have enough money so that you can bribe someone to give your kids a good job. That's how it usually works in Eastern Europe. And I see that Western Europe is becoming the same. So you need to bribe the HR lady, right? Like when you go apply for a job, you give the HR lady money and all of a sudden, right? But the question is like, what are your actual abilities, right? Like, can you influence the behavior of your neighbor? I mean, you can try, but take into account that if you do that, then your neighbor becomes antagonistic to you and they will try to influence your behavior. So like, if your neighbor leaves you alone, doesn't talk to your kids, doesn't influence your kids, you know, he's doing his own shit in his house. I understand, like, when he's in public, he should have decorum. But like, when he's in house, why do you care? You know, like, the idea in my country is maximum scrutiny in public, minimum scrutiny in private. Like, let the man have his own space, and then in return, he will let you have your own space. Because you also want privacy, you know? You also have certain ideas and beliefs that you wouldn't want other people to fuck with, right? You wouldn't want me as an atheist to start indoctrinating your kids into atheism. But if you display that you cannot tolerate other people, then it's a survival mechanism for me to indoctrinate your kids into atheism. Because I will be thinking, it's like, you know, I want what's best for my kids. And my ideology and my idea is that, well, religion is actually harmful. And so, like, now I will try to indoctrinate my kids into atheism, and I also have a duty to indoctrinate yours. And we have conflict now. Why do we have conflict when we could choose not to have it? Like, you would have stayed in your lane, I would have stayed in mine. Was that not comfortable enough? Oh, like, I'm sure, like, at some level, we're affecting each other indirectly. But, like, is that not something that can be manageable? Does it actually require physical confrontation, right? And so that's my take. You don't have to apply it or not. But I like for instance, you know, when you have a situation like in Canada, where all the school teachers are talking about cracking eggs, and if you misgender your kid, like social services take the kid away from you. Yeah, that's something that does affect you. That is something that most people will push against, specifically because it affects you and they're not staying in their lane. That's not staying in your lane. That's being in public, okay? And now you're actually trying to say that you have more right than parents. And that's why there's a massive backlash against them. Tolerate me or I will not tolerate you. It used to be like that, right? Like, the woke co-opted the word tolerance, and they never tolerated anyone. Like, the woke were not tolerant at all. And the only reason they got into power isn't because, like, people were tolerating them. It's because the ideology that they were pushing was very good for the banks. Because, like, people were like, oh, we're going to go against the 99%. And the banks went, well, what if we fragment the people so they're not united? And then it's a lot easier for us. And that's what happened. Have you seen the recent discoveries in the Shroud of Jesus and how much the religious community is excited about those scientific discoveries? I'm an atheist. Well, I never said that Jesus didn't exist, right? Like most atheists do admit that the person Jesus may have been real. Like there's no reason to believe that a human by the name of Jesus managed to gather a crowd and he was having teachings and everyone was listening, right? Like that's not the most atheists that are like me. They don't believe in the supernatural, right? They're more close to the Jefferson Bible, where the teachings of Jesus have merit, but no one believes in the supernatural, right? So like if they would have a proof of the resurrection, or they would have proof of like certain miracles, then yeah, sure. Like if they were to find the basket that Jesus fed people with bread and fishes, and you have a basket and bread just keeps coming up, I would become a believer the next fucking day. I'm not even kidding. Like, if you can show me a miracle, like something supernatural that I can't explain it, yeah, I would definitely become a believer. I think it would put me in a very difficult spot because, like, okay, Christianity is real, holy shit, but like, which denomination? Like, do I join the Catholics, the Orthodox, the Protestants? Like, which one is the correct one? But yeah, like most atheists don't say that Jesus didn't exist. Most Christians also know that Muhammad existed. Right? Like, this is not controversial. Like, most Christians admit that, yeah, like, there was a guy, Muhammad. But they're not Muslims. Why? Because they don't believe in the supernatural claims of Muhammad. They're not believing that, no, like, they're saying, okay, he may have been a warlord. And he had, like, specific ideologies and teachings, right? But, like, just because you admit that Muhammad existed doesn't mean that you're a Muslim. And it's the same thing with the Jews, right? Like, Jewish people, they too believe that Jesus Christ was an actual figure, an actual human. But they don't believe that he was the Son of God, right? And so that's like the revelation with the shroud, that the shroud is real, that wouldn't change anything with atheists. Because, like, again, atheists have no problem admitting that, okay, well, Jesus was a human. Like, none of that is supernatural, right? None of that is weird. The atheists have like the following problem, because I spoke with many atheists, and I'm talking about the atheists that are ideologically motivated, not the ones that like reject God because they had like parents that were religious and so like they don't like God. But no, like the atheists like Richard Dawkins, like the beef that they have is like, number one, they don't believe in angels and demons, right? So like they don't believe in the supernatural at all. And so they don't believe that Jesus could make miracles and that he rose from the grave, right? They can't accept that Jesus existed, and they also don't believe necessarily in the way that we know of Jesus, right? We don't know of him from first-hand accounts. We don't know him from CCTV footage. We know of Jesus from the media, right? Like from the mainstream media, if you will, which at the time were the scribes. So we know of Jesus based on the people that wrote about him. And so we have to assume that the people who wrote about him wrote exactly the way that they view it. And the problem is that, okay, well, even when you're writing about something, you still have your subjective interpretation and your version of events. And even if you don't want to lie, like this is why the Gospels are different, right? Because there are differences in the Gospels. Well, because like if you see a car crash along with 20 other people, and then all 20 people are asked to describe the exact same car crash, you're going to get different stories, right? And so, again, that's a problem, but it's also like, what if the person wanted to lie? And we see this with pastors all the time, right? Like, pastors read the same Bible, the same text, and have different interpretations of it. And so, the religious people will say, well, okay, but it's because they were divinely inspired, right? They had divine inspiration, and that's why they wrote the Bible the way they did. But like if you're an atheist and you don't believe in the supernatural, then you say, well, hold on a little bit. Like, what is divine inspiration? Can you show me? Like, can you reproduce it? Can you, like, is anyone else divine inspired today? Okay, well, if not, then that's it, And as an atheist, like the best thing that you can use in order to attack this theological argument is that, well, in the Old Testament, I think it was a priest of Baal, right? Which accepted the challenge from Yahweh. And Yahweh basically said, like, send me your best priest, and I will send you my prophet, and you need to cast a miracle, right? And they had like a miracle duel in the Old Testament. and God the chosen one. Okay, can we do that again today? You know, like we don't have a priest. I don't believe miracles exist. But like if I see someone actually doing a miracle, performing a miracle, sure. But like we live in the age of CCTV footage and face cams, and everyone has a phone, and yet no one has seen an angel, no one has seen a ghost, no one has seen anything supernatural, no one has seen people go to heaven, right? And that's why I can't believe. Like, you can convince me that the philosophy is good, you can convince me that the teachings are worthwhile, but like if I don't believe that angels and demons exist, well, anyway, that's why Europe can't remain European without Christianity. Yeah, but now you're going into a couple of problems, right? You're comparing Europe in the past with Europe today. Europe in the past, we're talking about individual kingdoms that had maybe 1 million, 2 million people, right? And everyone was pretty much secluded to their own city, to their own town. Like where you were born is probably where you die. And you're comparing that lifestyle, right? Like imagine, you know, what it takes to control these people, right? Like to govern these people, I mean. Well, you have the church and you have the king, right? And governing these people in this situation is easy. Okay, now take Europe from today. Europe today has hundreds of millions of people. You have internet access. Everyone has a smartphone. Everyone can talk with everyone else at the same time. You have airplanes that can bring people from all parts of the world into Europe. I'm not even talking about the migration crisis. Like, that's just a by the way, right? And that, by the way, that's not even as worse as the Moor invasion or the Ottoman invasion. Like, people like to tragedize it, like it's the end of Europe. But, like, let's be fucking honest, you know, the Moor invasion of Spain is far worse than any of the refugee crises that are happening now. Anyway, right, besides that point, how can you, like if you have a religion where you expect every single person to think the correct things, how can you do that when you have the internet? How can you do that when you have like people coming from other places with other religions coming over there? How can you do that with so many schisms? Like in the past, you know, the church would have like 2, maybe 3 schisms, right? You had like the Protestants, you had the Catholic, the Orthodox, and maybe like a couple of other denominations. But now you have like the Mormons, you have the Jehovah Witnesses, you have the Quakers, you have the Amish, you have like so many fucking denominations, right? You need to understand that I'm not saying that Christianity isn't important, but there is a time in the future when you can say, okay, well, you reached a post-Christian society, and you need to either adapt Christianity for that, or you just will have people believe in other things. The people in Asia, like, they figured it out, right? So, for instance, Taoism. It's actually called Daoism. So, Daoism is still a religion, just like Christianity. It can form stable societies. It can be used by kings in order to govern people, and you have, like, order rather than chaos. Talks about similar Christian themes, you know, like respecting parents, respecting law and order, not being degenerate, so on and so forth. But, like, Taoism adapted. Like, it removed all of the spiritual elements, right? Like, the supernatural and shit. And it's like, okay, we keep the actual philosophy, the actual laws. And this is pretty much what the Jefferson Bible is in the United States. It's like, okay, well, we're going to take away the supernatural because, like, people are going to believe it less and less as the world modernizes. And instead, we keep the teachings. Soviet Union did the same shit, right? Like, they had an atheist society, and they realized it's like you still need an ideology to unify people. You need some guidelines. Yeah, like the word religion stops having the same meaning, right? Like, if people don't believe in a divine creator, is it still a religion? And it's like, do people need to believe in a divine creator in order to follow a philosophy? Like, what is more important? Is it the supernatural or the philosophy? And the answer is, like, if you look in Asia, you have Buddhism and Confucianism. They're atheist ideologies, theoretically. Like, they're just, for instance, Buddhism, they don't believe in Buddha. They believe that life is about pain. And by having this ideology, you learn how to deal and cope with pain, right? So, like, by following the paths of Buddha, like, Buddha is a wise person, basically. Like, he is the one that discovered these paths, you learn how to avoid pain and not to avoid it, but how to suffer it, right? Like how to endure it, basically. Yeah. Jefferson Bible is the Bible made by Thomas Jefferson, one of the American founding fathers. He basically took the story of Jesus and removed all the supernatural elements from it. So like he pruned the Bible of everything that's supernatural, and it's called the Jefferson Bible. It was found years after he passed away. And the idea was like, okay, if we have America, and in America we have Orthodox, and we got Catholics, and we got Protestants, how do we keep them from not killing each other? And it's like, okay, well, we unite the ideology based on the philosophy rather than the mystical, the supernatural. And people can still go to their individual churches and pray to their individual stuff, but like in public, we shape the law based on the philosophy rather than claiming that we have divine truths. Buddha abandoned his wife and his kid because he was upset about people being poor. Yeah, but like if you look at the Buddha teachings, he basically says that there's good and evil in every person. Like there is no such thing as a perfect person or an evil person. And so it's your job to ignore the evil, use it as, well, not really ignore it, use it as a warning, right? So like the evil that you see in other people should be a warning, and the good that you see in other people should be something that you emulate. So when you're looking at a person, you're not seeing, a good person or a bad person. You're seeing a human being with evil, and you need to understand why that evil exists and how to avoid it in your life. And then you need to look for the good so that you can emulate it and pass it on. And so when you look at Buddha, like his ideology applies to him. It's like, okay, abandoning his wife and kids, that's bad. Why did he do it? Would I ever do it? How do I avoid doing it? What exactly did he do so that I don't do it as well? And then you look at the good that he did, right? Like he created a stable society without Jesus. Okay, why did that work? How can we do it? How can we replicate? Is there anything that we can use, right? Like that's a much more enlightened way at analyzing the world rather than this is good, I discard it entirely. This is bad, I discard it entirely. This is good, I adopt it entirely. Like it's a lot. How should I say? It's more of a Western European way of thinking, right? Rather than an Orthodox. Like even Eastern Europe doesn't think like that, and we are still Christians. But we don't like to say, okay, this is completely haram, 100%. Just ignore it. This is 100% good, so we adopt it. I'm referring to the Buddha nature. I see. Buddha went back and his wife and kids became part of his followers. I don't know the history of Buddha. To be honest, I don't give a shit. I just looked at some of the teachings so that I can recognize when someone talks to me and it's like, oh, so you're like, your ideology is inspired by Eastern mythos. But like, I don't care about his lifestyle. The purpose of Buddha is not to emulate Buddha. Is to look at the paths, right? Like the seven, I think it's 7 paths, right? And try to listen to those. Let me see just really fast. What are the paths of Buddha? And you can tell me if they're bad or not. So these are the core teachings, the Noble Eightfold Path. Understanding the truth of suffering, its cause, its cessation, and the path of leading to its cessation. The 4 Noble Truths. ChatGPT just stopped. All right, ChatGPT, come on, work with me. Why the fuck does it want to work? Probably expected me to ask him about Islam or Christianity. Like I asked him about Buddhism and it stopped functioning. Okay, the first one is seeing reality clearly, accepting imperfection, no self and suffering. Right of intention, cultivating intentions of renunciation, goodwill, and compassion. The right of speech, abstaining from false, harmful, divisive, and idle speech. Right of action, refraining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and other harmful actions. Choosing an occupation that doesn't harm others. Preventing unwholesome thoughts and nurturing wholesome ones. Developing continuous awareness of body, feeling, mind, and mental phenomena. cultivating deep meditative states of absorptions where you try to understand the universe. Ethical conduct through speech, actions, and livelihood. Developing meditation, blah, blah, blah. Awareness of the present moment, focus, discipline, right? So, like, none of these things involve supernatural, right? Like, none of these things require you to believe in mythical things. It's more like a philosophy that has existed way before the Roman Empire. I'm not saying it's better than Christianity, by the way. I'm not saying it's worse either. I'm just saying, like, it can create stable societies. Is it more adaptable to 2025? I think, yeah. Like, I think, anything that doesn't have supernatural is more likely to be believed by the masses because the masses want to believe in something. And if you don't give them something, they will be woke or they will try to adopt something under peer pressure, right? So, like, the way Islam does it, like, they're trying to use peer pressure to force converts, and that can work. Anyway, the Lotus Eaters has 8 petals initially. Oof. Anyway, my phone battery died, so I'll have to stop the stream now. But thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you next episode. Take care.